The upcoming Wednesday episode of The Bold and the Beautiful is poised to deliver a masterclass in emotional whiplash, splitting its intense narrative focus between the sun-drenched, romantic cliffs of Los Angeles and the breathtaking, opulent streets of Monaco. On one side of the globe, a sudden and highly romantic marriage proposal threatens to upend the delicate family dynamics of the Forrester and Finnegan clans. On the other side, a breathtaking reunion between a husband and wife is secretly tainted by the looming, malevolent presence of daytime television's most notorious villain. As the pieces on this complex chessboard are moved into position, viewers can expect a spectacular collision of love, deception, and absolute desperation. In Los Angeles, the atmosphere is thick with romance and unforeseen promises as Deacon Sharp decides to take the ultimate leap of faith with Taylor Hayes. The ink on Deacon and Sheila Carter's divorce papers is scarcely dry, yet Deacon is wasting absolutely no time in securing his future with the woman who has unexpectedly captured his heart. At the picturesque Cliff House, a location that has seen its fair share of Forrester family drama and trauma, Deacon orchestrates a moment of pure, unadulterated vulnerability. Dropping to one knee, he presents a stunning ring and a heartfelt plea to Taylor, asking her to be his wife. This is a monumental shift for Deacon, a man who has spent years seeking redemption and stability in a world that constantly rejected him. In Taylor, he sees not just a romantic partner, but a beacon of light that has guided him out of the dark, chaotic shadow cast by his previous, highly controversial marriage to Sheila. For Taylor Hayes, this sudden proposal is a breathtaking shock that leaves her completely breathless and emotionally reeling. Throughout her turbulent history on The Bold and the Beautiful, Taylor has endured decades of romantic instability, primarily defined by her agonizing, cyclical heartbreak at the hands of Ridge Forrester. Now, faced with Deacon's unwavering devotion and crystal-clear intentions, Taylor is presented with a stark, refreshing contrast to her painful past. Deacon is offering her a future built on absolute certainty, a departure from the endless love triangles that have historically defined her life. However, the sheer velocity of this romance gives her intense pause. She is forced to ask herself if she is rushing into a lifelong commitment simply because it feels safe, or if this is the genuine, once-in-a-lifetime love she has always deserved. The psychological weight of this monumental decision presses heavily on her shoulders as she stares down at the ring. The timing and setting of this proposal are dripping with intense dramatic irony. The Cliff House, typically the domain of her fiercely protective daughter, Steffy Forrester Finnegan, is currently empty save for the two lovers, as Steffy and John Finnegan are continents away in Monaco. The absence of Steffy provides a temporary, almost illusionary safe haven for Taylor and Deacon. Without her daughter's intense scrutiny and vocal disapproval echoing off the walls, Taylor is free to listen solely to her heart. She is enveloped in the intoxicating romance of the moment, heavily tempted to say yes to the man who makes her feel cherished, respected, and prioritized above all others. Yet, the silence of the Cliff House is incredibly deceptive, masking the inevitable, destructive storm that will make landfall the moment Steffy returns to Los Angeles and discovers what has transpired under her own roof. If Taylor accepts Deacon's proposal, she is effectively lighting a match and tossing it into a powder keg of deep-seated family resentment. Steffy Forrester Finnegan has made her uncompromising stance on Deacon Sharp abundantly clear to everyone involved. To Steffy, Deacon will always be intrinsically linked to the trauma and chaos brought upon their family by Sheila Carter. He is the man who harbored the dangerous fugitive who shot Steffy and Finn, leaving them to bleed out in a dark alley. The notion of Deacon becoming her stepfather is a reality Steffy will vehemently and aggressively reject. Taylor's potential acceptance of the ring is a massive, calculated risk, one that threatens to severely fracture the profoundly close bond between mother and daughter. Taylor knows deep down that saying yes to Deacon means saying no to the peaceful family dynamic she has fought so incredibly hard to maintain with Steffy. But Steffy's impending fury is only half of the catastrophic equation facing this newly minted couple. The most dangerous, unpredictable variable in this romantic development is Sheila Carter. Although Sheila recently signed the divorce papers, legally severing her ties to Deacon under the guise of proving her grand reformation, her mental state is incredibly fragile and teetering on the edge of a total collapse. Sheila's compliance was a highly calculated move, a desperate gamble to demonstrate her supposed sanity and earn a permanent place in Finn's life. However, beneath this carefully constructed facade of acceptance lies a deeply unhinged, dangerous obsession. Sheila is already suffering from severe emotional withdrawals without Deacon's stabilizing presence in her daily routine. She viewed Deacon as her ultimate anchor, the one person on earth who truly accepted her despite her monstrous, violent past. Losing him to Taylor Hayes, a woman Sheila has long despised and viewed as a bitter rival, is a psychological blow she is entirely unprepared to absorb. The news of Deacon and Taylor's engagement, whenever it inevitably reaches Sheila's ears, promises to be the catalyst for a total psychological breakdown. Sheila is a woman driven by intense possession, jealousy, and vengeance. To see Taylor happily planning a future with the man Sheila still considers rightfully hers will undoubtedly shatter the fragile illusion of the reformed Sheila Carter. The engagement announcement will serve as the ultimate, unforgivable trigger, stripping away her rational constraints and unleashing the dangerous, predatory instincts that have made her a legendary menace in Los Angeles. It is highly likely that Sheila will view this engagement not just as a romantic defeat, but as a direct, personal attack orchestrated by Taylor, pushing the villainess toward a dangerous retaliation that could put Taylor's life in immediate, terrifying jeopardy. Meanwhile, thousands of miles away on the glittering, sun-drenched French Riviera, a very different kind of intense drama is unfolding. The Wednesday episode promises a deeply emotional and visually stunning reunion between Steffy and Finn outside a historic, beautiful church in Monaco. For longtime viewers of the soap, this specific location holds immense historical and emotional significance. It was here, in 2022, that Steffy, consumed by profound grief and believing her husband to be dead, miraculously heard the tolling of church bells and turned to see Finn alive and walking toward her. Returning to this sacred, monumental spot is meant to be a powerful reset for the couple, a chance to escape the suffocating corporate wars of Forrester Creations and the relentless, exhausting shadow of Sheila Carter that have plagued their daily lives in Los Angeles. As they fall into each other's arms, the reunion is magical, a beautiful testament to the enduring strength and resilience of the Shin romance. However, the breathtaking beauty and emotional resonance of the Monaco reunion are severely undercut by the dark, suffocating secret that Finn is harboring in his heart. Steffy is completely, blissfully oblivious to the fact that her husband is carrying a ticking time bomb of deception that could obliterate their marriage. Finn knows that Sheila Carter was on his commercial flight to Europe. In a desperate, panicked mid-air negotiation, Finn bargained with his biological mother, extracting a solemn promise that she would return to Los Angeles immediately upon landing and stay far away from Steffy. In exchange for her compliance, Finn promised to keep her terrifying presence a secret from his wife. This fatal error in judgment, choosing to protect Sheila's secret rather than warn his traumatized wife, is a massive, unforgivable betrayal of Steffy's trust. As he holds Steffy outside the church, Finn is consumed by crushing, overwhelming guilt, knowing that his silence has placed the woman he loves in direct proximity to her greatest, most lethal nightmare. Finn's decision to keep Sheila's presence a secret is a catastrophic miscalculation that threatens to permanently destroy his marriage and his family. Steffy has been remarkably clear and uncompromising about her strict boundaries regarding Sheila. Her severe PTSD, triggered by the horrific alley shooting, makes any proximity to Sheila a matter of life and death in her mind. By withholding this critical, life-altering information, Finn is stripping Steffy of her agency and her fundamental ability to protect herself and her children. He naively and foolishly believes that he can manage Sheila, that his biological mother will honor their mid-air agreement out of love for him. But Finn's deep empathy and desperate, lingering desire to see the good in Sheila have completely blinded him to her true, manipulative, and relentless nature. His silence is not a protective shield. It is a loaded weapon that Sheila will inevitably use to blow their idyllic lives apart. Finn's naive hopes are immediately and brutally shattered as the episode reveals that Sheila has absolutely no intention of getting on a return flight to Los Angeles. Instead, she is lurking in the dark shadows of Monaco, secretly observing Steffy and Finn's joyful, intimate reunion from a distance. The visual of Sheila watching the couple from afar is deeply chilling, a stark, terrifying reminder of her predatory nature and her inability to let go. From her concealed vantage point, Sheila observes the profound love and connection between her son and the woman who vehemently despises her. For Sheila, this is not a moment of joy for her child. It is a twisted, golden opportunity. She is a woman who thrives in the darkness, calculating her next move with chilling, sociopathic precision, while her targets remain completely unaware of the grave danger closing in around them. Sheila's motivations for staying in Monaco are rooted in a deeply delusional, grandiose objective. She is utterly desperate to secure visitation rights with her grandson, Hayes, and to forge a permanent, unbreakable bond with Finn. In her twisted, warped reality, Sheila believes that she can orchestrate a miracle on the French Riviera that will change everything. She is utterly convinced that if she can just prove her worth, perhaps by staging a high-stakes scenario where she emerges as a savior or a hero, she can finally break through Steffy's impenetrable walls of hatred and fear. Sheila views Monaco not as a vacation destination, but as a grand, theatrical stage where she can execute a dramatic redemption arc. She wants to force Steffy to see her not as a monster who fires guns in dark alleys, but as a reformed, loving grandmother who has earned a permanent place at the family table. The terrifying reality of this situation is that Sheila's so-called good intentions are often far more dangerous than her outright malice. When Sheila Carter decides to play God and manipulate the lives of those around her, the results are invariably disastrous and bloody. Her sheer desperation to win Steffy's approval makes her incredibly volatile and highly unpredictable. If Sheila decides to manufacture a life-threatening crisis in order to rescue Steffy and play the hero, she risks causing irreparable, fatal harm. The sheer arrogance of believing she can psychologically manipulate a woman who suffers from severe trauma inflicted by her own hands highlights the terrifying depth of Sheila's psychological detachment from reality. She is a runaway train of delusion, hurtling toward a devastating, high-speed collision with a family that just wants to be left in peace. The suspense in the upcoming episodes will be absolutely palpable as the countdown to Steffy's inevitable, horrifying discovery begins. Steffy is highly intuitive, possessing a sharp, finely tuned survivor's instinct honed by years of battling Sheila's relentless attacks. It is only a matter of time before the idyllic, romantic facade of their Monaco getaway shatters into a million pieces. The Wednesday episode strongly hints that Steffy may soon catch a glimpse of her mother-in-law from a distance, recognizing the familiar, terrifying silhouette of the woman who nearly ended her life. The horrifying realization that Sheila has followed them across the globe, invading their sacred, romantic sanctuary, will ignite a volcanic, uncontrollable rage within Steffy. Her fragile sense of safety will evaporate instantly, replaced by a primal, fierce need to protect herself and her family from this relentless, unstoppable stalker. When Steffy inevitably discovers that Sheila is in Monaco, the emotional fallout for Finn will be nothing short of apocalyptic. Steffy will not just be furious at Sheila's audacious intrusion. She will be utterly devastated and broken by Finn's complicity in the deception. The realization that Finn knew Sheila was on his flight and actively chose to lie by omission will be a devastating, perhaps fatal blow to the very foundation of their marriage. Steffy will view Finn's silence as a profound, unforgivable betrayal, a glaring sign that his lingering loyalty to his biological mother supersedes his sacred vow to protect his wife. The trust that they have painstakingly, agonizingly rebuilt over the past year will be shattered in an instant. Finn will find himself desperately fighting a losing battle to save his marriage, forced to confront the harsh, undeniable reality that his empathy for Sheila has cost him the trust of the woman he loves most in the entire world. The stark, brilliant contrast between the two primary storylines in this episode is a testament to the dramatic, high-stakes storytelling of the bold and the beautiful. In Los Angeles, Taylor is standing on the precipice of embracing a new, hopeful future with Deacon, blinded by the sweeping romance of the moment and blissfully unaware of the immense danger her happiness will soon provoke in Sheila. In Monaco, Steffy and Finn are desperately attempting to celebrate their love, equally oblivious to the fact that the very danger Taylor is inadvertently provoking is currently lurking just a few feet away from them in the European shadows. Both of these strong, independent women are operating under a false, fragile sense of security, their lives intricately and dangerously connected by the chaotic, destructive force that is Sheila Carter. Taylor's willingness to even consider accepting Deacon's proposal highlights a significant, dangerous blind spot in her usually analytical, psychiatric mind. While she is acutely aware of Sheila's past crimes and violent tendencies, she is perhaps vastly underestimating the depth of Sheila's current, unhinged obsession with Deacon. By stepping into the highly coveted role of Deacon's fiancé, Taylor is knowingly placing a massive, neon target on her own back. She is foolishly assuming that Sheila's signed divorce papers equate to genuine emotional closure, a highly dangerous assumption when dealing with a known, documented psychopath. Taylor's deep-seated desire for a stable, loving relationship is clouding her professional judgment, preventing her from seeing that her joyous, celebratory engagement could be the exact trigger that unleashes a deadly, unstoppable wave of retaliation from a woman who feels she has absolutely nothing left to lose. As the episode progresses, the narrative threads are being pulled tighter and tighter, drawing all of these beloved characters toward an inevitable, explosive clash that will alter their lives forever. The romantic bliss of the Cliff House proposal and the magical Monaco reunion are merely the deceptive calm before a devastating, Category 5 storm. The writers are masterfully building the tension, allowing the audience to see the deadly traps being set while the characters walk blindly and happily into them. The sheer, agonizing anticipation of Steffy's reaction to both Finn's massive betrayal and Taylor's controversial engagement creates a multifaceted, complex conflict that will drive the drama for weeks and months to come. Steffy will soon find herself fighting a brutal war on two fronts, battling Sheila's terrifying physical presence in Europe and combating Deacon's unwanted integration into her family in Los Angeles. What is Sheila's ultimate, twisted endgame in Monaco? Does she truly, deeply believe that a grand, manufactured gesture will erase the bullets she fired into Steffy and Finn in that dark alley? Her continued presence on the French Riviera is a terrifying testament to her relentless, suffocating persistence. She is a malevolent phantom that simply refuses to be exorcised from the Finnegan family's lives. If Steffy spots her, the ensuing confrontation on the beach will not just be a screaming match. It will be a visceral, desperate fight for survival. Steffy will not hold back, and her fierce, protective maternal instincts will clash violently with Sheila's desperate, delusional need for connection and control. The Monaco beach, a place of unparalleled beauty and luxury, is about to become a brutal battleground for the very soul of the Finnegan family.